Okay, let's start the chapter. In chapter 14, we're going to talk about the global marketing and research development, the R&D. In this chapter, it's about the globalization uh, of marketing and brands. The marketing and the R&D within the same chapter because of their close relation. A critical aspect of the marketing function is identifying the gap in the market so the firm can develop a new product to fill those gaps. And who is developing these new products? Developing new products require research and development. Thus, the linkage between marketing and R&D is strongly exists. Now, modern transportation and communication technology are facilitating a convergence, similarities of a certain taste and preference among consumer in the modern and more advanced countries of the world. Because of the communication, because of the technology, modern countries have become having the same taste, same jeans, same Coke, same cheeseburger, all these things, pizza, they're all same taste. Now, in the global marketing, a global marketing strategy that views that the world consumers are similar in their taste and preference is consistent with the mass production of standardized output. So they say everybody likes the cheeseburger of McDonald's, so they produce the same cheeseburger everywhere in the world. In the, you know, by mass producing a standardized output, the firms realized a substantial unit cost reduction, which is the called, we took it in economics called economics of scale. And we know the more you produce, the cheaper unit it gets. So that's what economic scale. But also by ignoring the country difference in the consumer taste and preference can also lead to failure. So if you think everybody likes a short skirt jeans, then you are not customizing it, your short skirt Levi's jeans, and you're not customizing according to the preference. Does an international business marketing function need to determine when product standardization is appropriate, when it's not, and how to adjust the marketing strategy accordingly also? We consider marketing and R&D within the same chapter once again because of their close relationship. And it is a critical aspect of marketing function is to identify in the market so the new product can be developed by R&D to fill those gaps. Now, developing a new product, we said that requires R&D, research and development. A new product should be developed with the market needs in mind, and only marketing can define those needs for R&D personnel. So the marketing does this marketing research, find the need, and then tell the R&D this is the need, and R&D develop personnel develop the product. We know about the marketing mix or the four P's. So the marketing mix is a set of choices of a firm offers to its target markets. The four elements that constitute a marketing mix is a product attribute or the product, the place or distribution strategy, the promotion or communication strategy, which is part of it, advertisement, and the pricing strategy, how much you're supposed to price it. Theodore Levitt says that about the globalization of the world market. According to him, he said a powerful force drive the world toward a conversion, a global village in a way, converging commonalities, similarities, and that force is technology. It has prolotized communication, transport, and travel. The market is the emergence of a global market for standardized consumer product on a previously unimagined scale and magnitude. So that's what we hear these days, the global village. Consumers are similar, they have a similar taste, but we see later on that's not true. Some products, no, and services there is a differences. The globalization seems to be the exception rather than the rule in many consumer goods market and industrial market. You know, the exceptions like the pizza, for example, Pizza Hut, the exception like Burger King, the exception like McDonald's, the exception like Levi's jeans. But the rest is need to be customized according to the community. Levite is probably correct to assert that the modern transportation and communication technologies are facilitating a coverage of the taste and the preference of consumer to the more advanced countries of the world. In the advanced countries, there were certain things getting developed, like everybody likes Starbucks for coffee, for example, switching from regular tea to green tea. These are the things that, because of fast communication and technology has provided this. Now, but we need to still segment the market. The market segmentation, what is the market segmentation? Is it identifying a group of consumers whose purchasing behavior differ from others in an important way. Maybe level of income, level of class, being young generation, older generation, male, female. These are all, you can segment the market. So the market can be segmented by geography, demography, and social cultural factors. But there is also a product attribute. A product attribute or a product can be viewed as a bundle of attributes. Excuse me. Attribute of a burger is like the taste of it, the texture, and the size. So these are three things that put an attribute to a certain burger. You differentiate between Burger King and McDonald's burger, which comes into this, for example, the cheeseburger. Issue that influence the product attribute definitely is the cultural differences. There's some country likes it food, their chunk of food more. Some of them likes it smaller. Some of them, likes it spicy. Some of them likes it less spicy. Some of them likes it medium. So the cultural differences, the economic development, and the product and the technical standard itself, like the product itself, and what's the technical standard there. So according to the culture, according to the economic development, and according to a product and technical standards. Now, product attribute, when we talk about cultural difference, the taste and the preference are becoming more cosmopolitan. So everybody coffee is gaining ground in against the tea in Asia. People start drinking more coffee in Asia. And a green tea is now popular in North America. So there is some differences is happening, but not suddenly. The taste and preference vary from country to country, as you know, to suit its global customer. For example, Coca-Cola has a wide variety of products such as Georgia which sold in Japan, for example. But it's a different in different countries. Now, if we look at the attribute, the economic development, consumer behavior is influenced by the level of economic development of a country. If it's a high development, fast development, there is more income, their purchase habit changes. For example, firm business in a highly developed country such as Canada and United States tend to build a lot of extra performance attribute into their product because there is an economic development and advanced countries, people tend to differentiate between their tastes. You can see that in a Starbucks. A lot of taste, a lot of type of coffees. You can go there and see it. Um, the other thing, the product and technical standard. Government or different government standards can rule out the mass production of marketing of a standardized product. So if you're making a burger with a bacon and very famous in uh, Canada, it's not going to be applicable in Saudi Arabia. Maybe the same burger, but the bacon should be made from non-pork products, for example, because pork is not allowed to be imported. That's one of the government regulations. Besides the regulation not allowing that. The difference in technical standards also constrain the globalization of the market, as you're aware. The other thing that we need to look at it is distribution and its strategy. The definition is the means, ways to deliver the product to the consumer. That's the distribution. Now, the difference between countries, there is a difference in the retail concentration. There is maybe the channels or channel distribution channels and channel exclusivities. And if you look at the distribution, could be done by manufacturer inside the country. And excuse me, once it's done inside the country, what will happen? You will have a wholesale. I have a quote. Um, you have a manufacturing inside the country, then you go straight to the wholesale and retail distributors and could be the final consumer. So you have the three option if it's inside the country. If it's done outside the country, you might need an importer agent. So you can do it directly, just like the inside country, go one by one, and the whole distributor sells to the real distributor to then to final consumer, or you go to the retail distributor, sorry, then the final consumer, or go, the options is as you see, is a definite, is defined according to your marketing strategy. The retail concentration. In a concentrated retail system, a few retailers supply most of the market. So a few retailers, like we see, there is few retailers here in the supermarket, and they dominate the market. A fragmented retailer system is one of in which there are many retailers, and no one of which has a major share of the market. And usually we count them, the top four retailers, how much do they take sales out of the total sales. The distribution strategy length, the channel length, refers to the number of intermediaries between the producers or manufacturer and the consumers. How many intermediary, major importer, and then probably distributors, and how many inventories, as we saw, is there. If the producer sells directly to the consumer, the channels is very short. And that's affect the marketing, the campaign, the product, marketing product. And the internet has shortened, as we know, the channel of link. Now you are In Canada, you can sell as far as South Africa. Um, there's what you call a channel exclusivities. An exclusive distribution channel is one of the that is difficult for outsiders for access. For example, a new firm often find difficulties to enter supermarket, their shelf, put their shelf product on the shelf of supermarket. Now, when it comes to the communication, which is part of it, is what do you call marketing, but communication is not marketing. Part of it, communication is marketing. There is a barrier to the international communication, such as a cultural barrier, source of the country of origin effect, noises level. Noises level means anything that cause a distraction, cultural barriers, and understanding of things differently in one culture than the other culture. Now, when we are wanted to do sales or we want to promote our product, we have two types, something called a push strategy and something called a pull strategy. In the push strategy, a marketing strategy emphasizes personal selling rather than mass media advertisement, like selling a house, selling a big product, sophisticated product. In the it's not cannot be done as push strategy. Like we said, market is emphasized on personal selling rather than the mass media advertising. On the pull strategy is the marketing strategy emphasized on a media advertisement, put an ad on TV, put an ad on flyers, as opposed to personal selling. It's like selling Coke, selling a burger. You don't go person selling, you do an ad and advertisement. So we have push versus pull strategy. The factors that determine which strategies to use, first of all, is the product type and the consumer sophistication, the channel length, and the last one is the media availabilities. Now, in the push-pull mix, in the push strategy for industrial product and or complex and new product, so you send the salesperson. In the pull strategy is for the consumer's good. See, pull is somebody is pulling your product. Push is somebody, it's the owner of the product or on behalf of the, is pushing the product to the consumer. So that's how you see it. Push when you're pushing the product to the consumer. Pull if the consumer buying the product, you don't need to sell it. When the distribution channels are short, that's good for the push strategy. What's good for pull strategy when distribution channels are long. In the push strategy, when few print or electronic media are available, not much access to electronic. In the pull, where the customer is pulling the product, is when the sufficient print and electronic media are available to carry the marketing message. Now, when it comes to the global advertisement or advertising, when we supposed to be for the standardized advertisement or against the standardized advertising? In other words, when can we do a standardized? When can we not do a standardized advertisement? In the standardized advertisement or advertising is because of the lower the cost of the value creation by spreading over many countries. You do one ad in USA and you can have it in Saudis, in South Africa, and in India. And other thing is a creative talent is scared. So one large effort will produce a better result. Against the standardized advertisement, when there is a cultural difference, A message that work in one culture might not work in the another culture and fail. And when the advertising regulations per a country, so creative talent is scarce. Here's the advertising regulations is there for the country, and you can advertise easily. Now, we all know the pricing can differentiate from one country to another country according to issues like income, demand, distance, and all these things. In the pricing strategy, international pricing strategy is an important component of the overall international marketing mix. Price discrimination exists whenever the consumer in a different country are charged different prices for the same product. When we were promoting IBM HR Access software, if the price is $1, the suppliers will sell it $2 and a half to Kuwait and half dollar 50 cents to Tunisia, dollar and a half for Emirates. So there is a price discrimination. Now, how we do a pricing strategy? First of all, we do a predatory pricing, multi-point pricing strategy, and experience curve pricing. We will explain each one of them. Now, if there is a regulatory influence on the pricing, then we should look at the anti-dumping regulation, we'll explain it later, and competition policies. In the anti-dumping regulations, both predatory pricing and experience curve pricing run awful of anti-dumping regulation. So they cannot, if there is an anti-dumping regulation, it cannot really lower your price or give a price that lower than the market. Predatory pricing is at such a low level that other suppliers cannot and are forced to leave the market. So you have a very low price, give it to the market, others will cannot compete and they have to leave or close, shut down. The dumping occurs whenever a firm sells a product for a price that less than the cost of producing it. In the predatories, you might be producing something higher than cost, but your cost is so low, your price is also low, and nobody can compete with you because your cost is so low, the others no. Here, what you do, you pricing it below their cost, so nobody can compete with you. So this is the end of this chapter. Thank you.